Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take your source material and really dig in, find the most compelling insights, those surprising facts, the essential nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're plunging into a sprawling, action-packed galactic saga. It's filled with war, transformations, mysterious powers, desperate quests for survival, just loads.
Yeah, we've got a stack of really fascinating excerpts here. The narrative takes us from, the utter chaos of the Galactic Minor right to the edges of warped reality.
Right. So our mission today is to guide you through this pretty complex universe. We'll highlight the critical players, the dramatic events, and those astonishing turns of fate that shape this whole conflict.
Get ready, because you're about to discover a world where planets become battlefields, heroes are forged in fire, and, well, villains might just be reflections of their foes. It gets complicated.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, the Galactic Minor. The sources say it's descended into utter chaos.
Yeah, complete chaos. And it's not random. The sources are clear. It's attributed directly to the insidious actions of agents of the Call.
The Call, okay, this mysterious entity pulling the strings, and it uses agents.
Exactly. We're introduced to the Triumvirate and their creations, the Guardian and his Forsworn. These guys have just devastated local group planets.
So a powerful structure behind the chaos. And they have a war machine.
Oh, yeah. It's powered by the monstrous swarm, sounds organic, maybe endless, and the technologically advanced brood. It's a military might, the tech says, unseen for centuries.
A double threat, organic swarm, advanced tech. And they don't just conquer, do they? I remember reading something about transformation.
That's the really insidious part. They don't just beat armies, they fundamentally change the places they conquer. It's brutal.
Like Butane, the Adjudicator's homeworld. Fell in just one day to the brood. One day.
Unbelievable speed, and Tress Major fell just as quickly.
But it's not just falling, it's the conversion. Butane becomes Battleworld. Tress Major turns into The Pit.
And even earlier, Farmland got converted into Warworld in that first wave.
So what's the goal there? Just strategy? Or is it something deeper, like erasing history?
It feels like that, doesn't it? Severing people from their past, their identity, and these new, twisted worlds become the stage for what happens next.
Right, setting up the quests. We've got the Adjudicator Prime, one of the last ones alive, apparently.
Yeah, chasing the destruction left by Syulus the Reagent and his warband. A path of ruin.
And at the same time, Kai and Raz are racing to Warworld. Different goal, though.
Right. They need to recover an artifact, something to end the succession war. But there's more to it.
Yeah, the sources hinted a confrontation. An intergalactic serial killer linked to their past. That sounds intense.
It's deeply personal for them, it seems. And it all comes back to Warworld, where this massive event is starting, trying to crown the king that the Call demands.
Cosmic stakes, personal vendettas, who gets to rule. It's all tangled up.
And identity is right at the heart of it. Tale 21. The Shroud gives us a horrifying look at Warworld and this transformation idea.
Okay, so the Triumvirate's watching this unfold, right? Happy with their work, stepping through portals to who knows where.
Yeah, they see it as fulfilling prophecy. Meanwhile, down on Warworld, we meet Tank, a survivor, pinned under debris.
Armor fused to his body. Bumping medicals? Sounds rough.
Extremely. He survived a ruptured fusion engine blast, apparently thanks to security protocols in the bird's eyes and his armor, maybe some advanced AI or system.
But the planet itself is changing around him.
Oh, rapidly and grotesquely. The sources say planets, animals, rocks, trees, and all manner of things began to warp into twisted versions of themselves, creating these organic techno life forms.
Like what? What kind of things?
Get this, a fox with 4 tails and 2 heads with the red-blue eyes of the Call. Glowing metal trees. It's like biology and tech mashed together into nightmares.
Wow. Okay. And Tank?
Yeah.
It doesn't say this.
No, he feels it happening to him. Moss growing on his arms. He becomes this organic techno place of horror.
So what does he do?
In desperation to avoid becoming whatever monster he's turning into, he pierces his own heart with part of his armor.
But doesn't work.
He awakens, transformed as the Shroud, a hulking beast of unimaginable proportions, no longer Tank, but a tool of vengeance.
So trying to die didn't stop the transformation. That's bleak.
It really is. And then the Triumvirate's voice echoes. calling for the denizens of Warworld to test the combatants in their big event.
So the Shroud becomes part of the games on Warworld.
Seems like it, and his power is disturbing. He generates these techno-organic tentacles autonomously. They grab others, subjugate them, transform them into more shrewds.
So he replicates his own transformation onto others. Ugh.
Like a virus.
Exactly, and he laughs while doing it, a booming laugh. He leads this growing wave of shrewds against others, like the Roach King.
Oh, no.
The Roach King, described as a swarm concoction of half bee, half roach, leads an insectoid army. Half bee, half roach. Okay. And the fight.
Brutal. The Shroud crushes the Roach King's head, tears the Bee Queen in half, just pure destructive force.
But he seems to embrace it.
Completely. He looks up at the sky and shouts, "You wanted a war. I'll give you war like you've never seen. I'll make you bleed."
And the Triumvirate. They like this.
They're pleased. This is exactly the kind of warrior, the kind of chaos they wanted.
Okay, from that horror show on Warworld, we pivot. Tale 22, The Redeemer. This sounds different. Hopeful.
A little bit, yeah. It's set on Butane, or rather Battleworld, as it's now called. We see the former first Adjudicator Prime watching his homeworld fall from a volcano.
The first Adjudicator Prime, so like the original one.
Seems so. He's overwhelmed by the loss, but also by how easily the Adjudicator ranks just broke.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. They were supposed to be this beacon in the darkness for generations, right? Evolved from regular folk enforcing the law. How did they fall apart so fast?
The sources don't give a single reason, but it seems the scale and, well, the nature of the call's attack just overwhelmed their structure. They weren't ready for reality itself to be a weapon.
And this former Prime, he remembers the beginning.
Yeah, he recalls entering a cave 1,000 years ago, finding the Prime Edict.
Ah, the Prime Edict. That's the source of their power, isn't it? A translucent power crystal of immense power.
Exactly. He was baptized in fire, reborn there, along with others. He even remembers Stricky of the S-Men and his own given name from before he was Prime. A really powerful memory.
So he uses the edict now to find hope.
He tries. He uses it, sees Butane's past glory, its future fall, this forever night, but then just a tiny pinprick of dying hope.
Okay, so what's Battleworld like now?
A constant state of war. It's administered by elementals, 7-foot golems, the iron variety is mentioned, described as perfect enforcers of metallic monstrosities.
Golems running the planet. Sounds grim. And there are zealots, too.
Yeah, the zealots of the Iron Fist, 10 feet tall, marked with a red Z. They believe the Brood are destined to cleanse all worlds. Fanatics.
And this leads to a specific scene. A confrontation.
A really pivotal one. A zealot is brutally beating a young human girl, maybe 13 to 15 years old, just for not paying homage.
Awful. But she fights back.
Incredibly. She keeps getting up, spits blood in the zealot's face.
Yeah.
And then she throws acid balls at him.
Acid balls? Where did she get those?
The text says they're highly forbidden and the golem's Achilles heel. It's completely unexpected. And she yells, "Now is the time."
Wow. Okay. So this isn't just random defiance.
No. She reveals her name is Omni. She rallies other adolescents and they attack the elementals together shouting, "Omnibomb!"
Omnibomb. I like that. So she's the pinprick of hope, the former Prime. So
Exactly. He watches this and realizes she is the hope, not him. She is the redeemer. He's just there to bear witness. It's a powerful line. No matter the darkest of nights or the darkest of time, there was always hope.
Amazing. Hope from the most unexpected place. Okay, that thread takes us to Tale 23, The Big Bang Theory. Syulus Prime, and a hidden agenda.
Right. We meet Syulus the Reagent on his new ship, the Glorious Annihilator. Big name.
He seems conflicted. Plans of conquest versus revenge?
Yeah, and the text says he's being gaslit by an agent of chaos inside of him, so maybe the call's influence is twisting his own desires.
And his relationship with his second-in-command, Syulus.
Strained is putting it mildly. Syulus is massive, wears this shiny crimson-red armor trimmed in gold conduit, can discharge energy, but he shows subtle contempt for Syulus.
Why? Is he loyal to someone else?
Seems so. The text mentions his loyalty is actually to Regulus, Syulus's brother. Syulus even melts a triple-thick steel doorway defiantly, just to show he doesn't really answer to Syulus.
Interesting power dynamics. Okay, meanwhile, the current Adjudicator Prime is looking for Syulus.
Yeah, incognito. He lands his ship, the Pillory, on this uncharted planet, bypassing some invisible force.
And he meets someone.
Alana, an elegant young woman who disarms him with just a flick of her wrist, clearly more than she appears.
And then Syulus shows up.
Yep, Syulus and his goon squad. Anulus is there too, looking stoic in his red armor.
So fight time.
Oh, yeah. Syulus is huge, just pummels Prime, body punches, stomps him repeatedly.
But Prime survives. The Prime Edict again.
Exactly. It makes him incredibly resilient. Alana helps him, tosses him this palm-sized capsule with nanobots for his battle suit.
Nanobot suit, nice. But he still gets kicked.
The full distance of a football field? Yeah, Syulus is strong.
But the fight turns.
Suddenly, yeah. 4 trinocular mechanical scorpions and colossal gun torrents just erupt from the ground. Manned by humans, they start firing on the Goliaths.
Whoa, where did they come from and who are they targeting?
They target Syulus and his goons, but pointedly not Anulus. Seems like someone else is pulling strings here.
And this is where Syulus makes a mistake.
A fatal one, emotionally anyway. He sees Alana's eyes, blue eyes, and realizes she's his twin sister, Ambrosia, whom he thought he'd killed.
His twin. He killed his twin sister. Okay, that's dark.
And recognizing her completely throws him off. That's when Prime, using a palm-held extendable baton Alana secretly gave him, it doubles as a trident javelin stabs Syulus right in the eye.
Ouch. So Alana was playing a long game here.
Seems like it. Syulus, injured and desperate, pleads with Anulus for help.
Mine and Anulus.
Lays it bare. You are nothing to me. You are not my master. Cold, says his loyalty is to Regulus.
Wow. Betrayal. Right when he needs him most.
Anulus then shows off his own power, transforms his armor to midnight black antimatter mode, absorbs plasma fire, then unleashes lightning incinerating the gun towers, then just carries the injured Syulus away.
Leaving Prime behind.
Yep, Prime wakes up later, presumably in Alana's care. She reveals everything. She saved him, the entire planet. It's their ship, Ragnarok.
The whole planet is a ship. Okay.
And she can read minds. Confirms Syulus killed her twin, Ambrosia, did something awful to her body, revealed the darkness inside him, and her warning. Butane fell to this same darkness.
So Syulus isn't just a conqueror. He's carrying this darkness, related to the call, maybe. And Alana's quest for revenge is tied into this huge conflict.
Exactly. Personal horror connected to cosmic threats. Which brings us neatly to Kai and Raz again, and their hunt for that serial killer. The Mark of Kai, tales 24, 26, and 30.
Right, the intergalactic serial killer.
Oh.
With the burning hand ritual and the glowing green eyes under a deep robe. Creepy stuff.
And the killings are brutal specific. On Taka Station, home of the Peregrines, these bird-like people.
Some can fly, right? Sacred flight.
Yeah, like Jeb. Described as a pompous ass, though. He couldn't fly because of some ionized liquid in his feathers. He ends up ritually gutted and hung with other flight crew members. The killer leaves a message, very ritualistic.
And then there's the Europa system. Spa planet.
Yeah, former gas giant, home of the thermopods, a society with zero crime because of hormones making everyone lovey-dovey and docile.
That's nice. Who does the killer target there?
The priest on high, powerful religious leaders. The killer's motive is stated. Only God should have the power.
Only God should have the power.
Okay.
And the method.
He tortures them to make this God particle inside them flare in size, then extracts it using a serrated bone knife made from his own forearm. The knife glows green with runes.
His own forearm bone. Yes. And he bathes in magma. This killer is seriously disturbed.
Deeply. And Kai feels this connection intensely. He has night terrors, smells burning flesh, sees Raz dying from the burning hand.
The AI even says he'll die.
How? The ship's AI predicts Kai will die before we exit hyperspace. He starts having vivid dreams where he is the killer.
He sees himself doing these things, collecting the God particle.
Yeah. On different planets. An ocean world, a city of neon lights. Calls it a genocide on a cosmic scale. The stress actually puts him into cardiac arrest.
Whoa. So this connection is physically dangerous for him. Does he get any answers?
He has a vision, goes to a place of light. A being tells him it is not yet your time. He sees an ancient citadel, a huge, pulsating God particle atom, and now he knows how to get there.
Okay, so a path forward. But what about the killer?
He confronts the killer in his dream. The killer's voice echoes, "You know the reason why," then pulls back his hood.
Yeah.
It's a twisted visage of Kai's own face. Looks ancient. Tormented. Green power burned into the skin.
His own face. So the killer is him. Or related to him.
It's incredibly confusing for Kai. He realizes, you're the clone, you're the first. I'm not a clone, but I die. How am I still alive is a mystery.
Wait, clone? So the killer might be the original Kai, and our Kai is a clone. Or something else.
It's ambiguous, but that seems to be the implication. The killer thinks only God should have the power. But the voice in Kai's vision said, only you should have the power. Contradictory messages.
And when Kai wakes up,
He's streaming, eyes blazing green, and he speaks the killer's catchphrase, only God should have the power.
whoa, so he's deeply connected, maybe even being influenced or taken over. That's a terrifying identity crisis.
Absolutely. Which, in a way, mirrors the larger galactic collapse. Which brings us to Tale 29. Geet, I'll make it a double. Looking at the economic fallout.
Right, the long-reaching effects of the Triumvirate, chaos, toppled economies, crime lords rising, makes sense.
The central government tried to fix it, apparently. Falsely prop up economies with worthless credits.
Which just caused skyrocketing economic inflation, right? Classic mistake.
Yep. And into that vacuum steps the criminal underworld. The great underbelly on Tress Minor booms. Used to be a hideout, now it's a grand ballroom for illegal markets. Drugs, crime, prostitution.
What kind of stuff are they selling?
Pure deradiated sarga, addictive but supposedly fewer side effects. Crackle, cheap, unstable, causes prolonged hallucinations. And something called teat juice from a venomous amphibian. It sounds delightful.
Yeah, not really. And the economics are grim.
Brutal. People being sold into companionship services to pay debts while they're unconscious. Galactic credits are worthless. Only brood coin has value.
Brood coins. So the Conqueror's currency is the only one that matters. That says a lot.
Yeah.
And we meet Ernesto again.
Yeah, the gambler from the pit. He's used as a reference for customers like Hank, which leads to double prices. It really makes you, the listener, think. What is valuable when society collapses? What's the real currency?
Good question. And this underworld connects to Tale 27, Stitch in Time, set back in the pit.
Exactly. The pit, that cruel, gruesome world of pain, torture, and gladiatorial games. It's now the main financial and transportation center to brood home space. The locals are in a twisted, symbiotic relationship with the brood.
Grim and former adjudicators are fighting there, corrupted by the call.
Thousands were corrupted, yeah. We see two identical twins, former adjudicators, forced to fight to the death.
Oh man, do they?
They mortally wound each other. But as they die, the fog of the call lifts, and they remember their oath to the Prime Edict. Tragic.
And the rules are merciless.
No winner declared if they both go down. The Taskmaster, a big brood, just executes the losers.
And Ernesto, our gambler friend, bet on this fight.
Yep. Bet wrong, apparently. He's facing ruin, possibly indentured servitude to the Brewfords, a brood criminal group. So he sends his bot, TD Bot, on a mission.
TD Bot. Not so trustworthy, but also a true friend. Okay. What's the mission?
Deliver a package to a brood scientist. Contains brood coin, butane buoyancy liquor, and pure ore of sargot.
Sargalogan. This time irradiated, illegal, priceless. Sounds dangerous.
Extremely. And the scientist, he's an enhanced being with cybernetics, obsessed with controlling time and space.
Uh-oh. Time manipulation stuff rarely ends well. Does TD Bot find anything else there?
He finds Nanny Bot Mia, his old friend, encased in glass, hardwired into the scientist's time apparatus.
Oh, what is he?
Smashes the glass immediately. Mia is conscious but in pain, saying, I see everything and nothing it hurts.
And TD Bot has the Sargot ore.
Instinctively, he jams the Sargotrillion, the processed ore, into an open socket on Mia. Boom! A great surge of energy. The planet shakes. Time and space distorted, ripping a hole in the fabric of reality, reveals something called the Nexus of Everything.
The Nexus of Everything. Okay. Things just got weirder. What happens to them?
The scientist, TD Bot, Mia, the lab, they all vanish. Just gone. But tashing particles continue to ripple, evidence of a major temporal event.
And someone appears.
Two figures emerge from the rubble. Pi and Stitch. One calls the other, my dear doppelganger. They say, we are just a stitch in time. And they hear the call.
So this time, event created or released these new beings.
Yeah.
Who are also connected to the call. Wow. Okay. Reality is definitely fraying.
You could say that. Which leads us right into the counterattack. Tale 28, Liberators. Operation Blue Gem.
This is where Ragnarok comes in. Alana's living planet ship.
Exactly. It phases into orbit near Butane Battleworld, recharging. It's the staging ground, 2/3 the size of Butane's moon.
And the Adjudicator Prime is there, prepping his forces.
Yeah, marveling at Ragnarok's tech, but also frustrated about how the Galactic Minor's anti-technology fever held them back. Seems like old politics crippled their ability to adapt.
Who does he have with him?
15 former primes. They live long because of the edict, but they're not immortal. 2 battalions of troops, vehicles, and the Nords.
Nords. Like space Vikings.
Sort of. Spacefaring people, experts in bioengineering. Their goal is Valhalla, a.k.a. Terra, Earth.
Interesting. And their scientists made a breakthrough.
A huge one. They figured out how to reverse the terraformed planet below. Battleworld using the Prime Edict crystal and Battleworld's own crystallized metallic core.
Reverse the terraforming, actually heal the planet. That's massive. Is that Operation Blue Gem?
That seems to be the larger goal. The initial mission, Operation Blue Gem, is smaller scale. Infiltrate Brood facilities on the moon, take control of comms centers. Prime leads a small force in his ship, Pillory II, with Nord stunt fighters.
How does the infiltration go?
Surprisingly easy. Security was lax. The Brood were totally distracted.
Distracted by what? Oh, wait. Alana finds some.
Yeah, she discovers Syulus's fleet is in orbit around Butane itself, and she pulls up a live feed of the surface.
And it's bad.
Horrifying. Prime, Alana, another character, Kozikoya, they just stare in disgust at the burning, fragmented planet's surface. Alana's crying. A real gut punch.
So Prime decides he needs to go down there.
Immediately. I gotta get to my ship. I've gotta get down there. Very emotional, but calm resolve.
Do they encounter resistance?
There's a Brood battleship fighting a Goliath dreadnought in orbit. Prime's strike team just jumps in and vaporizes both ships. Swift and decisive.
Then they head planetside.
Skim the surface using fire-retard foam and water to try and contain the destruction, a desperate measure.
And Prime sends a message.
Uses the captured comms to call out Syulus directly. Stylus says, I'm coming for you. No one is above the law. Throwing down the gauntlet.
How does Syulus react? He's already injured, missing an eye.
He snaps. Fuming, eye patch and all, he gives in completely to the call. It consumed him, it changed him, stretching him, binding him, turning him until a flash of blue light energy evolved him.
Evolved him? Into what?
He's now standing eye to eye with Anius. Huge.
Yeah.
Transformed by the call's power.
And Adjudicator, what does he do?
Anius bows, but the text says he feels the call creeping inside him now, and he's truly afraid for the first time.
Wow. So Syulus's transformation is terrifying even to his immensely powerful, traitorous second-in-command. The stakes just went way up.
Absolutely. Ragnarok phases into orbit around Butane's blue moon. The counteroffensive, Operation Blue Gem, has truly begun.
And the beings who made Battleworld, the Harbingers.
They're watching, and they are not happy. This will not do. This is not good. This displeased us. Suggests even bigger players might get involved.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot to take in. So stepping back, what does this all mean for us trying to understand this whole saga?
Well, we've seen this huge galactic conflict, right? Driven by the call, this mysterious reality warping entity. We've seen planets twisted, people transformed in horrifying ways.
Yeah, and these desperate fights for survival, for vengeance.
Yeah.
Like the Shroud or Lana.
But also glimmers of hope,
Yeah.
like Omni, unexpected resistance. And we've got this deeply personal horror story with Kai and the serial killer who looks like him.
So this deep dive, it's not just, ships and battles. It's about resilience, about how loyalties get all tangled and shift.
And maybe most chillingly, how power, whether it's from the call or the Prime Edict or even weird time stuff, can just completely warp who someone is, warp reality itself.
The whole universe feels unstable.
Yeah.
Planets changing, people changing, time itself ripping open.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of anything is fixed? How much of us is fixed?
Yeah. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. In this universe where identity is so fluid, Tank becomes the Shroud, Kai faces his own monstrous double, Syulus gets consumed and evolved by the call. How much of our own core self do you think is truly unchangeable? What forces, external or even internal desires, could potentially irrevocably change who we are? And if reality itself can be warped like that, does that mean our own ideas about truth, about agency, are they just as vulnerable? Something to think about.